Okay, now having had a look at power, and hopefully you'll have a chance to explore using your golf hammer, hitting the ball harder, applying that to the golf shots, and hopefully hitting the ball further. We're now going to be looking at spin. Now, spin comes in a couple of guises. Backspin, which is what every golf shot that is in the air has, irrespective of if it's a driver or a pitching wedge, it's just different amounts of backspin. And then we have the spin that creates shape, which is the same spin, backspin, but on a slightly inclined plane. There's a slight tilting of that axis, and that's what makes the ball fade and draw or hook and slice. It really is simple as this. If this was the path that the club's traveling on at impact, the club face's orientation to that is what creates the spin. If it's perpendicular, then the golf ball goes straight in whichever direction the path is traveling. If it's closed for a right-handed player or aiming to the left, we get a hook or a draw. And if it's open to the right for a right-handed player, we get a fade or a slice. So we're going to be using those principles to try and get you to actually hit the golf ball intentionally with shape. Because in my experience, most club golfers that I come across unintentionally slice or fade the ball to the right, and they would love to be able to intentionally do the opposite. And that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, how's the Golfhammer going to help us? Well, we're going to be looking at producing, first of all, the path. Then we'll look at how we can tie in the club face to produce the draw. I've put 3 poles down on the ground here to indicate the direction the club should be travelling in as it hits the golf ball. The white pole is indicating the ball to target line, and there's an intermediate target pole here just to let you see this yellow pole sticking out of the ground. The yellow pole to the right indicates the path that the club will be travelling on for a draw or a hook spin shot, and the one on the left for fade, which we'll be covering a little bit later. So what I would do with the hammer is first of all try and orientate it towards that right hand pole. If you can imagine positioning the pole behind the ball in relation to the white, that would be how we would orientate it towards the target for a straight shot. We know it's going to be a 7-iron that I'm going to be using to actually produce the shot itself, so there'll be a slight shaft lean. Then I would take my hold. Now I'm going to be doing exactly that to produce that path to the right. I'm going to take the hammer, I'm now going to rotate it round so it relates to the right hand pole, and then I'm going to move myself into a position where I feel I can get that job done. Little shaft lean, then hold. So I've had to move about a bit so that I can sense, yeah, this is not a bad position to hit the golf ball directly down the right hand yellow pole. So I'm going to do that now. Let's just hit a couple like that. That's gone not too badly to the right. So again here, rotate, little shaft lean, grip, definitely rehearse and alter if I need to alter. I feel pretty good. And another one. So the path of the club there isn't too bad. It definitely has got a chance if we can get the club face tied in with that. That is one of the biggest key elements to drawing the golf ball intentionally. So let's look at trying to apply that with my 7-iron. Club behind the golf ball in relation to the white pole, rotated round in relation to the yellow pole to the right, shaft lean, adopt a position and a hold that I feel I can do the job of hitting it straight over the yellow pole, and then I would do that. That's the next thing I would do. I would hit some shots trying to hit it straight over that yellow pole. I would do that for quite a while until you feel comfortable with adopting that position and delivering the club. If you can start to achieve that, then you're well on your way to this intentional draw. The next thing we need to look at is that club face. So nothing changes. Setting up, rotating, shaft lean, adopting a position and a hold. Next change though, I'm going to actually take that position and rotate the club face closed. So I'm just turning it so it's facing more towards the target. Then I'm taking my hold. I'm then going to be swinging the club down the right hand pole, the path of the club that way, the club face closed more towards the target, the golf ball will have to spin. I'm going to actually show you this, but I'm going to be a little more extreme so hopefully it shows up in camera. I'm going to swing the club a little more to the right of this yellow pole. I'm going to have the club face quite closed because I can hit the golf ball quietly and softly. Hopefully you'll actually see the spin on the shot. So, adopting a position to hit it a long way to the right here. Shutting the club face quite dramatically and having some rehearsals. I feel I've got a chance here. And now I'm going to go ahead and do it. So hopefully I managed to keep that low enough that you actually saw the golf ball bend. Now I hit that golf ball quite softly, and that's one of the elements that you need to consider when you're intentionally drawing and fading the golf ball. The faster I swing the club, the more power I use, the more spin I impart, the more bend I create. So what we need to be looking at now is starting a bit of exploration. If the golf ball isn't bending enough, we need to either increase the speed and the power, or we need to increase the difference between the path and the club face. So we need to increase that. If it's bending too much, we need to decrease it. So we're going to be going through some exploration there to try and find out how we can intentionally draw the golf ball. Good luck with that one.